Hey Sam, this was the first really tight ACC game you guys have played this year. First game in a while where you've been behind for most of the game. What was the key to kind of grinding out this victory tonight?
Yeah, I think a big part of it was turning up our defense in the second half. In the first half, they kind of got whatever they wanted, it seemed like. In the second half, we tried to make them earn it more. And obviously, more shots fell, I felt like, for us. But overall, I think we brought more energy in the second half, and that fed into our play. And we kind of got a couple bounces go our way, and that always helps. But definitely a great win. We're gonna take that and learn from it, but also take the good parts of it and build off them.
And Coach said the fifth-year seniors did what they're supposed to do tonight. You and Jay kind of down the stretch took over and did the most of the load with scoring. What was it about that timeout? I guess it was 9:43 left in the game that y'all kind of flipped the switch down the stretch.
Well, I mean, you can't just wait around in a game like that, especially when you're down. You gotta flip the switch and turn it on. And I felt like me and Jay got more aggressive, and whether we were making the shot or someone else, our aggressiveness opened up a lot of things, I felt like. So definitely just stuck with it and ended up on top.
Sam, I think you had won every ACC game to this point by at least 9 points. What can you take away from a game like this that goes down to the wire and you guys need to make plays in the final minutes?
Yeah, well, I mean, in a tight game, every possession matters a lot more. And early in the game, we shot ourselves in the foot with a lot of turnovers and defensive breakdowns. And I think down the stretch, we tightened up, took care of the ball well, and obviously made really big shots. So definitely learned from this and can't take a win like this for granted because it's a great win against a great team.
Mike Barber came along and keep the shot up.
Sam, Kihei was having a rough night, and then his only bucket ends up being the game winner. What does it say about him that he's got the confidence to take that shot in that spot?
Yeah, I mean, Kihei's a competitor, man, and you can see that. And him staying aggressive and taking a big shot like that shows his character, and that he just wants to win, and he's going to do whatever it takes. And we trust him in that situation. And he obviously, he had to shake off a lot of things, and I thought he did well. And he just stuck to the game plan, stuck with it, and obviously made a huge shot down the stretch. And, we love Kihei. He's a little energy bug, and he showed it tonight.
You have a quick turnaround now for Syracuse. Do you have any insight into facing that zone and how much of a challenge is that?
Well, I mean, I've never played against a zone like theirs, so we worked on it in practice earlier in the week. It's definitely different than an ordinary like 2-3 zone or whatever. But as the game goes on, you kind of find your spots. So, but you got to go in aggressive.
Sam, a week between now and your last game, do you feel was any rust maybe having not played in that kind of time, or was that not a factor?
I mean, maybe, but we can't look at it like that. We got a week to get better, and that's the way we view it. Obviously, we looked a little off in the first half and probably the first 6-7 minutes of the second half as well, but we pulled it together, and like I said, we just got to stick to it in practice because each conference win is big, and you got to cherish them for sure.
I think you're muted.
I'm sorry. Okay. Sam, Coach was talking about their quickness, and what was the unique challenge of guarding them, and what was the key for those last 10 minutes?
Yeah, those guards are really talented. They're fast. They get downhill, and they showed it tonight. They can make a lot of plays for their team and open up a lot of things. But Coach tried to preach like how quick they were in practice and how you got to stay down and just slide and do whatever you can to stay in front. And I think we really tightened up in the last 10 minutes of the game and did a lot better job of containing them, and it helped us crack into that lead and eventually take the lead and win the game.
question for Sam will be Caroline Garney.
Sam, as we established, this was the first close game that you guys had. When you see what Jay is bringing on the defensive end and those blocks, how much does that play into feeding onto that for you now that you're ACC getting underway, playing all these games now?
Yeah, I mean, Jay is a really talented shot blocker, and he can cover up for mistakes at the rim, and he showed that tonight. Sometimes guys got past another, but he was there to clean it up at the end of the day. So having a guy like him on the back end that can make a difference is definitely a big aspect to have of our team. So he's just got to stay aggressive, stay hungry, and play tough.
Off the inbounds pass, which is not a shot you've taken a lot of recently. There wasn't much time on the shot clock. Was that just a bam play where you got it and you had to put it up and not think about it?
Yeah, it wasn't exactly drawn up like that, but I'm kind of the last option if we need to get the ball in. We ran that for Sam to get it in the corner, and I think it got deflected the first time, so we had to basically just try a different play. And it ended up where I had to just kind of get it. And I shoot that shot. I practice it, but it's also definitely not my specialty. I have either about as short a range as you can get or three-pointers, so it's kind of my thing.
Jay, obviously you and Sam kind of helped finish this thing off. What was it that got you guys going in the final 10 minutes?
I mean, it's always just it typically boils back to our defense. We knew we had to get stops. We were getting what we wanted on the offensive end for the most part. I mean, they played really good defense, but I think we could get some of what we wanted. Sometimes shots weren't falling, especially in the first half. But once they started falling, it was a lot easier to just figure that out. And then, as usual, it just comes down to getting stops.
How much have you learned about playing against the Syracuse zone, and is it harder with the short turnaround here?
I've played against it a fair amount. A lot of times we change up what we do on offense, whether it's a zone or man. We just like to switch things up every once in a while. But honestly, like the way that our green machine, the guys that just get us ready and run the other team's plays, they get us really ready for that zone, and I think they run it really, really well. So I think we prepared some even over the past few days for that, just because it's a quick turnaround. We won't have much time tomorrow. So I think really we're pretty well prepared.
Jay, what's the benefit of playing a tight ACC game for you guys? I think the first 5 ACC games you've won all by at least 9 points.
I think it gets these guys ready. Me personally, I've been in probably a million 2-point games with 1 minute left in my 5 years here. It's pretty freaking ridiculous, actually. But for some of the first years, that's something that they got to get used to. So I think we just, we learned from it. There were definitely mistakes that were made, but it also just helps to grow you as a player, being involved in those type of late situation games.
The next 3 will be Brad Franklin, Preston Willett, and Gene Wong.
Yeah, Coach was talking about in the postgame about your block shots and staying down. I think you're at roughly 2.5 blocks per game. Do you feel like this year you've done a better job staying down? Is that something that you made a concerted effort to work on, or is it just sort of coming naturally to you this year?
Yeah, I think for the most part, when I play defense in the post, I just hear Coach Williford's voice in the back of my head yelling, "Stay down, stay down." So I think that's definitely a big part of it. But it's also just something that I've been working on. We played a lot of one-on-one in the post. So it's just something that I've improved on over my 5 years. Wish I would have improved on it sooner because I used to jump a lot more. But it is what it is.
Sorry, I lost the order. Jay, what was it like, just you and Sam down the stretch? Coach kind of said, fifth-year seniors, that's what y'all are supposed to do, is make those big plays down the stretch. Kind of just you and his performance down the stretch.
Yeah, Sam he makes some shots that just astound me. The one where he kind of went up and under and shot a little bit of like a floater on the baseline. I don't even know what it was, but it was pretty ridiculous. The guy can score. And that's just, with that, and just Sam just kept emphasizing, we got to get stops, we got to get stops. That is what it is here. And I think that as fifth-year seniors, that's just something that we have to kind of set the tone with.
Hey, Jay, having been on the court or having been in front row seat for so many clutch plays by D.A. Clark in his career at Virginia, kind of what's the confidence level when he's taking that shot that wins the game for you down the stretch?
I always know he's, prepared for that sort of thing. He's got ice in his veins, and, trust him, more than anybody in a lot of ways. Just he makes big plays for us, and he always has. So we trust him a lot.
All right, we'll take our last question for Jay from Caroline Guardian.
Jay, you mentioned all the close games that you've been a part of. What is the vibe like when you have yourself, Kihei, and some of these players that have been around the block and played in a lot of tense, close games? As you're looking at the clock, looking at how much you're down by, that's one thing. What is the mentality of the team, and how composed is it that the team's in?
I think you said it right. I think we're very composed. I don't think that we get panicky, but we do get a little bit, I guess more intense is the right word. We're used to that, and we've even just done situational type drills at the end of practice where, it's a 2-point game and you got to go make plays. So when we get into the game, it's not much different.